I have got for you today a very cool video that I haven't seen anyone do yet, and that is unboxing, first impressions, can't really be a review yet, of a whole new line of fragrances from LATTAFA's MaisonAlhambra. I'm talking about their new line of clones for the Bond Number 9 fragrance collection. They're called MaisonAlhambra Luxe. This one's called Nightlife. As you can probably tell by the color scheme, this one is New York Nights. But there are several of them, and what I want to do in this video is give just some first impressions really, and compare to fragrances from other clone houses that are cloning the same fragrances. So that's where we're headed. If that sounds good to you, remember to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and begin. All right, so first up, before we dive in, I want to mention there are a few houses who are already doing kind of budget clones of Bond Number 9. Now there is a house, Joe Milano, they are doing kind of higher end clones in the say $60 to $80 price range. I haven't picked any of them up yet. I've started to a couple times and I'm just buying so many other things I haven't, and also have a ton of clones for Bond Number 9 fragrances. So I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about the more affordable, sort of in that like $30-ish range, maybe 30 to 40, somewhere in there. And there's a few brands actually that are doing that. One of them, probably the one that came on the scene first, is Emper. They're actually always very cheap and they're usually very good. And so this is their version of New York Nights. It's called Night Party, and I really like it actually. It's got phenomenal performance. So New York Nights is a coffee, caramel, kind of gourmand sweet fragrance. I will tell you this one, again, it does, on my skin, no exaggeration, it lasts 10 or 12 hours. I wore it a couple nights ago. It was still there whenever I woke up the next day, and that's typical. But this one does have a little bit of kind of a synthetic-y, plasticky smell. Not all that uncommon for Middle Eastern clones. But there is a little bit of that. So I'm going to be comparing this one directly to the New York Nights dupe from MaisonAlhambra. I really hope it's good. If you can get it in the same price range, that $30 to $40 range, and it doesn't have that synthetic smell, and it performs, and it's good, I mean, I'll call the newspapers, if anybody still reads newspapers. So anyway, a couple others from the same line. I had more. I actually did a giveaway with you guys, but the ones that I have left, I have their very good dupe of Lafayette Street, and I have their very good dupe of Nomad. And I think the MaisonAlhambra line, I think, does both of these and some others as well. One that I picked up recently that is, I think, an excellent clone of a Bond Number 9 fragrance. I would say of another level of quality than the Emper fragrances. That would be this right here, Zakat Z25. So this is, you know, their Zakat, their take on obviously Bleecker Street, and it's excellent. No synthetic vibe whatsoever. Very, very similar to the Bond Number 9. I would say it might be a touch more palatable or mass appealing. It doesn't have quite as much of sort of the clash between that leather and grass, which almost gives you a little bit of a bitter kind of an impact, which I actually love. I didn't at first, but there's something that can be off-putting about Bleecker Street, and once you start wearing it, it becomes the thing that you love. But you know, this is basically blueberry, grass, and leather, and some other things, some citruses and a little sweetness, and but it's a fantastic spring fragrance. I really love it, and this one, the performance has not blown me away. The Emper fragrances, for the most part, the performance has blown me away. This one's decent. You know, it is a freshie. It's a fleeting, you know, grass and blueberry and citrus part of the fragrance is definitely something you don't expect to last forever. But it's, you know, it's about a 6-hour fragrance, but the quality is phenomenal. A couple others I'll just mention briefly, because what I'm saying is MaisonAlhambra has a whole line now. Are they the go-to, or are some of these other options going to be better? And between Zakat and Emper, Emper's a little cheaper, better performance, lower quality. Zakat is going to be a little more expensive, maybe 20% more expensive, but better quality, potentially not as great performance though. A few others I'll mention here. You know, you could always go with Dua or Alexandria. They're gonna make just insanely good and very expensive clones. I have their version of Andy Warhol here, and it is fire. This is of course, plum fragrance with oud. I really didn't like it whenever I got it, but it has really grown on me. It's gotten better over time, and I've adapted to the kind of oud in this fragrance, and I love it now. You know, they are Extrait, they're very strong, but I've definitely been wearing this. I wore it a lot this past spring. You've got generic perfumes, which are going to be on the level of quality of fragrance of somewhere around that Dua Alexandria Zoha. But if you use my discount code, they are cheaper. You can get free shipping, or you can get 25% off. They are cheaper. They're not cheap, but they are cheaper. But their presentation is a lower level. You know, their atomizers are not awesome. Sometimes they can leak, their lids break. So anyway, generic perfumes, I've got maybe 5 or 6 of their dupes of Bond Number 9 fragrances. Right here, I've got Lafayette Street. It is awesome. I've got Bleecker Street right here. Very, very good. I started with a travel spray, fell in love with it, and then ordered a full bottle of 50 ml. Then I've got some others as well, Coney Island and several others as well. So they are actually very good. Their take on New Haarlem is fire. One of you sent me a little travel spray of New Haarlem, so thank you if you're watching out there. And side by side, they're almost indistinguishable. Their New Haarlem is amazing. Or of course, you could always go with this one right here if you like New Haarlem. Anybody ever seen this one? Michael Jordan legend. Actually came out before New Haarlem and probably inspired New Haarlem. This is dirt cheap. It's basically New Haarlem with leather. New Haarlem with CH Men leather added in. That's basically what it is. And if you find it at the rack store, you'll get it for 15 bucks. It's very good if you like New Haarlem and if you like CH Men. The moment we've all been waiting for, my friends, we're gonna go ahead and unbox this beauty. I mean, what a presentation. You know, I paid a little more for this because it's new. I think I paid about 40, maybe 39, something like that. It'll come down. I bet it'll be 30 by the end of the year, something like that, low 30s. The Vosteed Parallel, amazing titanium, super cheap pocket knife for those of you who indulge in such things. So the box is sort of that rubbery kind of material. Super impressive given what this fragrance will likely sell for in the coming months. Pretty nice. I like it. I like the way that it looks. It's gonna look decent on the shelf. You know, I have way worse presentations on Middle Eastern fragrances. This one actually looks pretty cool. So anyway, let's check it out. Ooh, that's not great. Okay, so right away, you can probably see there, it's leaking around the collar. Can you see that? It has turned blue. Little Smurf action going on there. But it was shipped to me, so it might just be the shipping. I might have to update you guys on that. I can tell immediately when I take the lid off, this smells like New York Nights, like just immediately. But we're going to go a little deeper. All right, so we're gonna start out on paper. Ooh, okay, the atomizer was a little weird at first. It's good. It may not be as dark as the Emper, but we're gonna do some side by side. So far, just as it's in the air, I wonder if the MaisonAlhambra is a little fresher, maybe a little less sweet or a little less dark than the Emper, but we're gonna do side by side. Again, notes to be more specific in this fragrance, you've got in the top gardenia, carnation, jasmine, patchouli, flowers. So all of those are floral notes, but then you've got sandalwood, sea notes, caramel, and coffee. And so you've got some floral notes mixing with a good dose of gourmand sweetness and coffee with a little bit of woodiness. It's a very unique fragrance that just smells amazing. Definitely unisex, but I wouldn't say it's a feminine fragrance. It's just a unisex fragrance. Now we're going to try the Emper. Interesting. All right, so dang, they're really close, actually. Yeah, so I think that the Emper is just a touch darker, and I think the MaisonAlhambra is just a touch lighter. And so maybe a little more texture of florals, whereas the Emper maybe has a little more texture of coffee and caramel, but they are very close. They're probably 90% close to each other. Such a great scent. I mean, it really, really is. These Emper fragrances are awesome, and I'm really surprised that they're not talked about more. They're very good. We're gonna have to go on skin. I mean, how else are we going to solve this mystery of which one is better? One of you actually commented on one of my videos and said, why hasn't anyone reviewed the MaisonAlhambra dupes of the Bond No. 9 fragrances? And I said, I don't know about them. What you talking about? So I searched them up and bought this one on Amazon, and it just showed up yesterday. So on skin. All right, we good. So I'm gonna go MaisonAlhambra on the left, and I'm gonna go Emper on the right. Yeah, the Emper puts out a little more juice in the atomizer, but significantly more. But quality-wise, now that this one is primed, the MaisonAlhambra is primed, it's not really a major difference. The Emper fragrances, the lids are hot trash. I've shown this on videos before, but it's behaving right now because you're watching, but these lids come off just the slightest bump. Some of the ones I have, the lids don't even stay on. They just like balance on top. All right. Yeah, so I think to describe the difference between them, they're very close. I do think the Emper is a little deeper, a little darker. I think the MaisonAlhambra is a little lighter, a little more floral. There is something in this fragrance that at moments, this is going to sound weird, but if you're a frag head, I think you'll get it. At moments reminds me a little bit of like fingernail polish, and I love it. There's some of the way the notes come together, you know, but I love things like Tom Ford Black Lacquer, which has very much that kind of a varnishy kind of smell with a bunch of other goodness. Check it out if you haven't, it rocks. So this one has, the MaisonAlhambra has a little bit more of that element of the fragrance that I actually really love, whereas the Emper is, you know, a little more dark, a little more sweet. I think the Emper, the sweetness is stronger, but it is not as complex, if that makes sense. It has more of an impact because it's sweeter, but this one may be a little bit more nuanced. So it's gonna come down to performance. I mean, if you just want the sweetest thing that you can get a hold of, get the Emper. And I already know the Emper performs very, very well. Obviously the MaisonAlhambra, I'm gonna have to test it and get back to you, but I would say if the performance on the MaisonAlhambra is good, even if it's in that like, you know, 6-7 hour range, I would say that it would be hard to necessarily recommend one over the other. It's just a style choice. What do you prefer? Right now, I'm actually not getting that kind of plasticky synthetic thing off of the Emper, which I will tell you, the last time I wore the Emper, which was just in the past week, there was a lot less of that. I think as time has gone on, I've had it for a while, maybe close to a year. As time has gone on, it has definitely gotten better, and that happens with Middle Eastern fragrances. It's also gotten stronger, and it was strong whenever I got it. I definitely don't get plasticky synthetic vibe from the MaisonAlhambra. I think it's actually very good. So I would love to hear from you if you've tried any of these. I wonder what the Nomad clone is like. I love Bond No. 9 Nomad. It is an oud fragrance. It's sort of like you know, warm, spicy oud with some Dolce & Gabbana The One mixed in there is kind of what it reminds me of. Emper's dupe is very, very good, but I bet the Maison Alhambra of that one would be very good as well. Let me know if you've tried any of these. Let me know your thoughts on performance if you have. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you down below. Drop me a link if there are clones that you think I should pick up. I will try to find links to all of these and put them in the description. I've got discount codes for some of them. You know, I bought this fragrance. It wasn't sent to me or anything, but I'll do what I can to find you a good deal on them. Thank you so much for watching. I am Justin. This is Sillage Scents. I'll see you on the next video.